Ogunbowale was arrested after punching a security guard in the face in a Miami nightclub.
What if I told you the biggest threat to the WNBA right now isn't the owners, the money, or even the negotiations? It's the players themselves. Because in professional sports, the real product isn't just basketball. It's image, perception, and brand power. The athlete is the brand. And when a players' union sits across the table from billionaire owners demanding to be treated like global icons, they're making a huge promise that they'll operate with the discipline, professionalism, and responsibility of global icons. But you can't demand the financial power of a corporate titan while acting with the reckless energy of amateurs. Over the past 12 months, the WNBA Players Association has been running a full-blown PR campaign, pushing the idea that they're the most underpaid and underappreciated workforce in modern sports. They're asking for a 50% revenue split, guaranteed max contracts, even demanding that billionaire owners open their private financial books. And the mainstream sports media has been selling this story like it's some heroic fight for fairness. But behind the polished press conferences and perfectly filtered social media posts, cracks are starting to show. The entitlement is boiling over, and players may have just handed the owners the exact ammo they needed to crush the union in negotiations. Because now this situation isn't about revenue splits anymore. It's about serious business risk. We're talking about the face of a franchise, a multi-time All-Star, getting arrested in a Miami nightclub after allegedly assaulting a security guard. And when you see the footage of what happened next, things get even crazier. Check this out.
Slater scoop! WNBA All-Star Arike Ogunbowale was arrested on Thursday while celebrating her team's unrivaled basketball championship at Club 11 in Miami. Police sources tell me she punched a man in the face and he fell to the ground. It was also caught on.
That was intense, right? And here's the part the league absolutely cannot spin away. What you just heard isn't some random tabloid gossip floating around the internet. This is a direct, structural hit to the public image of the entire WNBA. And the timing of this situation could not be worse. Right now the league is locked in one of the most aggressive, high-stakes collective bargaining battles the sport has ever seen. The Players Association is openly threatening a league-wide strike, basically playing corporate chicken with the ownership group while demanding that the league hand over a massive share of the financial pie. Their entire argument is built on one central claim: that these players are elite, indispensable professionals worthy of guaranteed multimillion-dollar investments. But right in the middle of this delicate power play, one of the league's most recognizable all-stars, Arike Ogunbowale, ends up getting arrested after allegedly punching a man at Miami's Club 11. And suddenly this stops being just bad optics, this becomes a serious corporate liability. Because when billionaire owners and global sponsors like Nike, Gatorade, or State Farm evaluate an athlete, they're not just looking at points per game. They're analyzing risk. Corporate America is brutally risk-averse. They pour millions into campaigns built around athletes who represent inspiration, empowerment, and family-friendly brands. So when one of those faces shows up on security footage dropping a nightclub employee to the floor, that entire marketing illusion starts to crack. And when investigators started digging into the police report, the details that came out made this situation look even worse. Take a look at this.
TMZ Sports obtained the complaint. Officers were notified of a physical altercation that broke out inside 11. When approaching the rear exit of the club, the officer stated a large crowd was being escorted out by security. The officer made contact with the alleged victim, who claimed he was attempting to escort 29-year-old Ogunbowale out of the club due to an unrelated altercation. So there's already an altercation. She's getting escorted out because of it.
That clip right there tells you everything about how fast a situation can spiral out of control. Now listen carefully to the actual sequence of events, because this wasn't some random misunderstanding that got blown out of proportion. According to the police report, there was already a completely separate altercation happening inside the club. Security was doing exactly what they're trained to do: de-escalate the chaos and move people out before things got worse. They began escorting a large group, including Ogunbowale, toward the rear exit. Standard protocol. The guard was simply managing the crowd in a tense environment. But instead of walking away like a seasoned 29-year-old professional who understands the spotlight on her every move, she allegedly turned around and threw a closed-fist punch straight at the security guard, knocking him to the floor. Just think about the mindset required for that moment. When you're a high-profile athlete, you know cameras are everywhere. Your image isn't just personal anymore. It's a multi-million-dollar corporate asset. Yet the culture surrounding parts of the WNBA has created this strange bubble where some veteran players seem to believe they're completely untouchable. For years, the media narrative has constantly framed them as victims of a broken system, shielding them from serious criticism and reinforcing the idea that the world owes them respect. And when an athlete hears that message over and over again, it can create a dangerous sense of entitlement, the belief that normal rules, normal accountability, somehow don't apply anymore. What makes this situation even more revealing is how the sports media reacted the moment this arrest went public. Because instead of hard questions and accountability, the response was something very different. Watch this next part.
Sorry. Andy Cosmo says, Arike is home safely per Unrivaled Sport. What do you mean home safely? What do you know, she's the one that punched the... Did he make it home safely? Is he okay? Is he okay? Did he have to go to get stitches? Did he have to go to the hospital?
That reaction you just saw. Yeah, that's where this story takes a really uncomfortable turn. Because instead of focusing on what actually happened, a WNBA star being arrested for battery after allegedly striking a working-class security guard, the immediate media response was to celebrate that the player made it home safely. Think about that for a second. The concern wasn't the security guard doing his job for a fraction of an athlete's salary. The concern wasn't the workplace assault. The narrative instantly flipped to protecting the star. That kind of media shielding creates a dangerous environment. When players know the journalists covering their league will rush to defend them, soften the story, and redirect the outrage, accountability starts to disappear. And once that accountability disappears, discipline usually follows right behind it. But here's the reality check the union might not be ready for. The media can protect reputations online, but they can't protect players inside a boardroom full of billionaire owners. And those owners are looking at this situation very differently. The WNBA Players Association seems to believe they hold the same leverage as superstars in leagues like the NBA or NFL. But players like LeBron James or Patrick Mahomes operate inside billion-dollar ecosystems generating massive global revenue every single year. The WNBA is only now beginning to move toward profitability, and a huge portion of that surge in attention has come from the arrival of Caitlin Clark. That means the leverage veteran players think they have might not actually exist. And incidents like this, they give ownership something incredibly powerful in negotiations. Because when the union demands fully guaranteed contracts, money protected no matter what happens, owners are going to bring up situations exactly like this nightclub arrest. They're going to argue that if an athlete becomes a PR disaster, a franchise must have the right to protect its brand, void contracts, and cut ties. In other words, the very leverage the players are fighting for might be getting destroyed by the actions of their own teammates. And if the owners decide to push this moment as proof that stricter morality clauses and behavioral rules are necessary, this entire negotiation could take a dramatic turn. But the final piece of this story, the part almost nobody in mainstream sports media wants to talk about, is what this could mean for the future of the league itself. And the next clip explains why this situation might be far bigger than just one arrest.
That for no reason, I'm on her side. Yeah, it was his fault. He should have known who she is. He should have known her jersey number, what team she plays for, her stats. Maybe he did. Maybe he knew all that. Maybe he picked her up, escorted her out. Hey, aren't you the one who went 0 for 11 from 3 in the game? What'd you say to me? Boom!
That last clip says a lot more than people realize. The commentator tried to make a joke about the security guard maybe not recognizing who she was, even poking fun at her shooting percentages before the punch happened. It sounds funny on the surface, but underneath that joke is a brutal psychological truth about modern professional athletes. A lot of these veteran players demand superstar treatment everywhere they go. They want the recognition, the respect, the celebrity status. But when they run into someone in the real world, a working-class employee doing his job, who doesn't bow to that perceived status, the ego clash can get ugly fast. And that's the exact cultural problem the WNBA cannot afford right now. The league is trying to ride a massive new wave of attention, especially with the explosion of family-friendly viewership sparked by the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Sponsors are pouring money into the league expecting a clean, professional, marketable product. But when one of the league's established veterans ends up arrested after a violent nightclub altercation while celebrating an off-season tournament championship, it sends a terrifying signal to the corporate world. It suggests instability. It suggests the culture might be toxic. And for sponsors investing millions, that creates one big question. Is this league actually safe to invest in? The players' union believed they could pressure the owners into handing over half the league's revenue. They believed the threat of a strike would force billionaires to fold. But here's the brutal reality of high-level sports business. Billionaires don't panic. They play the long game. They have patience. They have capital. And now, because of the reckless decisions of their own players, the owners might have the perfect justification to tighten their grip on the entire system. While the union thought they were playing tough negotiation tactics, the ownership group has been playing high-stakes corporate chess, and this arrest may have just handed them the queen. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think WNBA owners will use this arrest as the ultimate reason to reject guaranteed contracts in the next CBA? Should the league suspend a player for punching a security guard? Or will the media quietly move on and protect the star's image like nothing happened? Jump down into the comments and tell me exactly where you stand on this. And if you want the raw, unapologetic truth about the business side of sports, the power struggles, the leverage battles, and the stories mainstream media refuses to say out loud, make sure you subscribe to WNBA Vibe, turn on those notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to see it. Because around here, we don't push sanitized PR narratives. We break down the real game happening behind the scenes. Stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.